All right, Black Market Vikings. I'm here with my boy Ryan Peterson, Humboldt County legend, bare knuckle boxing championship fighter. He's got a fight coming up in a week or so in Philadelphia. This is a big event, not only for him, but for Humboldt and for the league in general. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know what bare knuckle fighting championship is, it is the newest and fastest growing spectator sport in the world. It is a gladiator style traditional fighting of bare knuckle boxing. Self-explanatory, right? Please tune in if you've never seen it before. I think that everyone that would be exposed to this would be extremely interesting. To me, it's a lot more exciting than UFC. It's just a straight shoulder to shoulder battle.
Ryan Ryu Peterson. Battle has begun. Round number one. Heavy edge, short right hand, hard turn right hand, left hand from Ryan Peterson. Open rear hand to suckle on Chuck. Looking to catch it. Will happen now. Fight! Round number two, the American writer Ryan Peterson. Right hand, hard entry, left hand, right hand. We talked about it before. We can see a lot of very confident like those hard body shots. He stayed in round number two. Big left hand. The battle continues. Fight! Straight off the one and two, we were seeing a lot of naked twos from Peterson. Right hand again. Same punch, same sequence. Keep it up. Fight! And that is high point for Peterson right to the body. Seconds remaining round. Will happen now. Fight! Finally comes to it. On the duck under right hand. Right hand and the left hand to the body. You see the right hand from Peterson. Fast hand forward. Left hand down. Ryu Peterson.
Big shout out to Coach Joe, Next Level Boxing, for providing the gym here. We got a painting of Ryan in his prime right here in the back. We want to fire off a couple questions to let you guys get to know him a little bit better. Unfortunately, I can barely read or write, so I have him in my phone. I'm going to read him off my phone as we go. We're going to give him a chance to answer. I'm hoping that this exposes you guys to something great coming out of our area. We're from a beautiful community who supports one another. Here we go. Let me get my questions. You ready for this, bud?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, me and this guy together is like a fucking jailbroke AI system that's downloaded every conspiracy in the world. But we're not going to do that today.
We're not going to go to full
okay?
grok yet.
Yeah.
We're not going to go full grok.
Okay, we're not going flat earther on you quite yet. About halfway through the interview, we'll hit you with that. All right, here we go. Also, too, we're going to take a second mid-interview. We're going to give a shout-out to our sponsor. It's something really cool. It's a chair that hangs from a tree that actually provides you camouflage and holds your weapon while you hunt, so you don't have to bring the chair, crawl up the tree, and you have a chance to run if you see a mountain lion before they climb up there and kill you. Okay, first question, brother. And first of all, thank you for joining us.
Hey,
I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, guys.
He was just training my son in the other room, and I thought, what an honor. Like, I got like one of the greatest out here just training my son for free, and that was pretty cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know he appreciates that too. What's the first real fight you've ever been in your whole life?
Oh, wow. And that's not including my brother whipping my ass or nothing like
Those
that.
are just mandatory. That's training. That's training, yeah.
You know what? I think it was probably second or third grade. I got into a fight with this kid named DJ, and I remember he was kind of mouthing off, and I remember I socked him in the stomach and just killed him over from that. That was like the first
body shot.
Body shot, yep. Hit him in the gut with a kind of an uppercut, I recall it, and he fell over, and that was that. And then there was probably just a couple little tussles after that, but growing up, it was a case of just, being a little hoodlum, being insecure and worrying about everything, and anybody look at you wrong, you just start swinging on them.
Yeah.
Ignorant as can be.
Do you know where that kid is now?
He's probably doped out somewhere.
He's polishing a rifle somewhere with a picture of you, like that movie with Steve Martin. You always remember the first one, and the ones after that are kind of a blur, obviously, because there was probably so many.
Add up.
And you don't seem like an angry person, but you do seem like, I think some of the nicest people in the world are quickest to turn to violence because they're less tolerant of bullshit.
Agreed.
At what point did you realize this is it? Like, I'm going all in. Like, was there like a click or like a pivotal point or a turning moment where you landed a punch on someone in the ring, or you got done with a sparring session where you were like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do?
So, funny enough, actually, the moment that I could really kind of pinpoint, this might sound fucking crazy, but I was homeless for a while, literally living on the street, nothing. Like, I had a backpack and that was it. And my mom got an apartment. I moved in with my mom, and I was sleeping on the floor. And literally, I heard a voice of God, and it said, "What are you doing with yourself? I gave you all this potential, and you're wasting it." Mm-hmm. And it literally, the next day, I went and told my mom, like, "Hey, God talked to me." As crazy as that sounds, that's literally what happened.
Oh,
and
no,
I just knew that I was all in at that point, that no matter what, I had to pursue that. I think I was probably 17 at the time, and it took me about 2 years to kind of totally get the ball rolling. I started training, things like that, but it took me about 2 years to get the ball rolling, to all of a sudden start trimming the fat of who I was hanging with the wrong crowd, all that kind of stuff to go down the right path and straighten out.
And sometimes, too, he has to connect with you to put you on your path. He has
100%.
to give you a pat on the back and say, dude, I understand, but now it's time for you to turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And for everybody out there, I want to say quickly, praise God. God is good.
Amen.
Jesus is king.
Amen.
Okay? Put the Lord in your life as soon as you possibly can, and everything will be okay.
Have some kids, too.
Have some
Straighten
children.
your life out and have some kids. Go with God.
Yes, absolutely. And let that be the first and only message you get from this interview.
Absolutely.
I think, too, when you get that visit and you're allowed to walk into the kingdom with him for a second to receive his message, it does allow like a certain perspective, like invincibility. And you will still have to go through hell to get to heaven. It doesn't just roll out the red carpet. The trials and tribulations and the difficulties will still be there, but you have a driving force behind you.
At least you get a little peek behind the curtain as to this is what's possible if you stick on this. You got to do the work. But you got to stay on. If you stay on this path, this is what's possible.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened. It was basically a look behind the curtain. Like, hey, if you straighten out, your potential is unlimited, but you got to do the work.
Absolutely.
You got to do the work. There ain't no
that.
wishing. There's no wishing. There's no shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's none of that. Basically, you got to do the work today as if you didn't do it yesterday. Mm-hmm. That's the way I wake up every day for training. Do it today as if I didn't do it yesterday. Yeah. You got to lay that brick. And every day what I tell people, are you laying bricks or are you building a cathedral? I'm building a cathedral.
100%.
I ain't worried about just laying bricks pointlessly. Mortar, brick, whatever. No, I'm trying to build something that's worth doing, worth talking about.
100%. And you're getting there, bro. I'm really pumped. I'm really excited.
Thank you.
I was at the Bear River fights when they brought you on stage and shit.
Right,
and I was like,
cool.
Dude, how does he do this? I would have had stage fright and went into full-blown panic mode.
Weird? What's weird about that whole thing is I actually felt more nervous for that than I did for a fight.
100%.
Because there's no let off. There's no let off there. It's like you're going out there just for
Oh, dude, the mic. You had the mic. I can see it. I'm like, oh, man, this guy's brave as hell. More bravery takes that than for a fight, because the fight, you're just locked in.
You have something. You have something. I trained for this. Here's the let off. And even then, I don't mind public speaking, but it was just kind of an awkward thing, too, to take. Basically, it was a massive compliment.
Yeah.
Go out there and have everybody say, hey, here's a compliment, this and that, to accept that. It's like, when
you're a humble person, it's really
try to remain humble through everything.
It's like getting a present on Christmas. You're looking at the kids like, why did you do this for me?
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly how it felt. Not only that, when I just want to be humble because all this could be gone like that. You know what I mean?
100%.
I could drive out here and boom, and that's
You're
it.
not
It's all gone.
We're gonna watch you become world champion. I've seen it already in my own eyes, and I think it's gonna be a great day for not just you but our community in general.
I agree. I agree.
People who don't know, we're from Humboldt County, which is a very, very rural, very small area. Yep. He's from Southern Humboldt, Petersen, which is probably population 112 people,
if that,
in the middle of the woods. Anyone who's I don't want to reference this as just a reference point to our community, but if you ever seen Murder Mountain on Netflix, it's very close to there. And that isn't a really good representation of what we are and where we are. We're actually a beautiful community of people who love one another, but it's also a place, if you have bad energy, you can get smoked. Yeah, you can end up in a really bad situation. It's very dangerous, but it's also a very happy place at the same time. It's all up to you to how you want to pick your energy. So I will reference that movie, but don't use that as a way to judge Humboldt County and what it's all about, because it's really all about good vibes, peace, and love. And we're a community who support one another.
Good intentions and having each other's back, because that's anytime something happens in this community, everybody piles in. Like there was just an accident recently on 36. A gentleman that I work with, his daughter was in that accident. I plan on donating a portion of my purse, the GoFundMe or whatever they have for this. And that's how everybody is in this community. If you're a good human being from here, you'll be taken care of. People will look out for you. And to be honest with you, I experience like not even a percentage of hate out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least to my face, nobody has. Even online, every
They don't want
once
to get
in a
their
while.
ass kicked. But yeah.
Even then, I'm a gentleman about it. But either way, you know what I mean? I'll be a gentleman. They can't cause me to go off of how I need to behave. But either way, online, every once in a while, I get somebody that says something like, why would you, bash your face in the sense? Like, well, it's not just going out there and rock 'em, sock 'em.
Yeah.
We've trained hard. We're disciplined. I live a straight lifestyle, and that's it. So we have a good community, though.
You're a junkyard dog. So
Yeah,
you got a face that only a mother can love, buddy. Okay. You can take the damage.
Just don't hop that fence.
A little rearrangement might look better. No, I'm just fucking with you. Don't worry. I'm an ugly fucking gimp, too. No, rural communities, too, you do have to have each other's back. I mean, if something happens, it's like, hey, bro, I need you to come down my driveway and lift this, or I'm out of gas. Like, we can't get the light on the generator,
Especially where we live, being out in the middle of nowhere, or going, obviously wintertime, we're generally shut off from the rest of the world
100%.
with slides and power going out for
100%.
Who knows for how long, right?
So, yes, people, Humboldt County is a great place. That's where he's coming out of. It's a very hard place to make it out of. Yeah. When you get an opportunity to perform being from here, you got to go all in, and you got to put on a show so that you can get to the next event. This is and anybody out there from a small place, there's lots of small places all over America that people made it out of. Deion Sanders, a couple different people come from absolute nothing and made tremendous waves and careers and helped thousands of people throughout their lives. So it can happen. If you're out there and you're from the middle of nowhere, you can make it. You just got to work harder than everybody else and do the damage that needs to be done. Before we get started, I want to say a big shout out to all of the fighting legends in Humboldt County that came before this time. Yeah. Junior Albers, Jesse Strawn, Felix Luna, Mike Luna, Cass Bell, the twins.
Gear up and take your hunt to the next level with a blind that offers unmatched portability. Hunt anywhere, anytime. Light to carry, quick to deploy. Camouflaged, comfortable, built for the long sit. See it all, shoot it all. 360 degrees vision. Full rotation. Revolve Outdoors, revolutionize your hunt. Learn more and order today at revolveoutdoors.com.
Me, myself, personally, when I experience even just the small wins in life, I'll have a brief second where it's just me alone in my thoughts. I usually thank God, and I thank just the world in general for having my back and supporting me. And I have a small handful of people that I want to say, like, hey, I couldn't have done this without you. I'm nothing without you. Real quick on camera, do you want to just give the quick list? 4 or 5 people that just straight up, you're nothing without them.
Yeah, that's my wife, my family, my wife Laura, my kids Rambo and Callan, the rest of my family. I could not do this without them. She's my right leg and my left arm, man. Yeah. She is. Without her, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's holding it down for everything that I have to do for ABC, lining that up for me, or for lining up travel that I have to take care of, or just for taking care of my mind when I start to lose it.
Yeah,
like we were talking earlier. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be a bank robber, and she makes sure that I don't go
100%. And the most important thing you can have in your corner, in or out of the ring, is a good woman, fellas. Yep. Okay, so let that be a lesson to you too.
Yep.
That's good. So that's the first handful of people is just the family. Nothing without them. Can't do it without them. I feel the same way.
Would not want to do it without them.
I feel the same way. And I got a couple homies too that you guys know who you are. We're nothing without you fuckers. What's something you do in training to keep your hands hard? I notice, because this is bare knuckle, you're making direct contact.
Matter of fact,
what's something you do?
This bag right here. Usually I finish off each training session. That guy right there.
Is that sand in there?
I think there's water in there. Yeah, it's water in there, but that's like a hard material. And usually at the end of each session, this is what I do. I set this thing up and I go 2-3 rounds on this, just hitting that, moving my head, moving my feet.
And the strengthening of the hand, it's not just the hand. You're strengthening the wrist.
It goes everything. Yeah, I'll do it with no tape on or anything like that. Just knock my hand on it, or do sand. You know what I mean? You can do sand. You can do. To be honest, I don't think that you should just go balls to the wall, start smashing bricks and smashing wood and things like that. Take it light, just like I did when I was kickboxing. You know what I mean? You just kick the bag. Find a harder bag, kick it a little bit more until finally it just deadens. Because no joke, dude, your hands get tore up in bare knuckle. You can see my knuckles are pretty lumpy. But your hands get tore up there, and I don't leave a fight with my hands looking normal.
Do you think that's probably one of what would you consider to be the most important part of training for a bare knuckle fighter? Like if you took a young fighter right now and said, I want you to focus on this one particular thing more than anything else, what would it be?
Oh, wow. First off, he ain't got no heart. I don't know if you can train that. I don't know if you could train the heart that it takes to get in there and bite down and go for it. That's a tough one. To be honest, good movement. I think good movement is imperative. The fact that if you can move, footwork and head movement, because I found out that you could stand up and you get some guys that come out there and just want to stand still and go like that.
Kind of take Abbott style.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. I don't think that's conducive to a good career, honestly. I think that you need, not that I'm the best at, avoiding damage, because my face is pretty well scarred up and you can see scars here and here and there.
Yeah.
But I try not to get chopped up. I got a pretty sharp face.
Harder to hit a moving target.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd say movement is good. Movement, obviously, cardio you can't go without. You know what I mean? You need to have cardio.
The road work.
You got to do that. You got to do training, things like that. But if I was to say pick this one skill, it would probably be movement. It would start with footwork and head movement is where it would start. And from there, that's what I would take it from. And build a base from that.
To all you aspiring people out there, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, movement. There's videos everywhere online. Footwork. My son right now, I showed him these videos on TikTok. If you can do this footwork, I'll buy you a dirt bike.
Yeah, good.
Because I'm not doing it until you can do it exactly the way these kids are doing it, And movement alone, I seen when you were telling them in the ring, jab your way out and move and duck.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
cut that angle. When you had Joe to the rope, to step right. Make him think you're going to go that. Boom, cut him there,
Yeah, and I think too, so you think that the movement really is the first step, and that would roll out the
build your
map,
foundation,
the textbook
there,
for the technique, and
build your foundation there. There's a lot of people that obviously that a lot of times you'll go to a boxing gym and they want to start off with just punches, rather than I think that it should start from the base up. Your footwork. What's your first line of defense? That's your feet in anything, right? Even if you were trying to get into a scrap right now and you pull out a gun, I might want to get away, rather than saying, well, what am I going to do with these?
Yeah,
use your feet, use your head, move. Again, you're harder to hit when you're moving around a little bit. That don't mean run away. You still need to stay engaged, in my opinion. But I do like aggression. Yeah. But I think the footwork is a fantastic foundation.
During a fight or like a preparation for a fight, and you said earlier you're not like big on trash talking. Me personally, I don't like it when fighters do it, because I consider it to be a gladiator, a gentleman's sport, actually a sport of real men stature.
Yeah.
I'm not big on the trash talking. Some people do it funny. Connor's always been funny the way he does it, and
some people you can't look away from.
100%. Yeah. And the thing is too, when you're going into a fight, boxing I know is a lot of preparation. You would study another fighter, you would come up with a game plan. There's so much technique, and you can kind of change your technique. When you go to your corner, they can tell you, hey, do this differently. Is bare knuckle fighting the same in that, or is it less about coming up with a game plan and more of like real life, real time changes as you go? Or how do you kind of come up with? Do you watch it in your head before you do it, or how do you do it?
No, actually, I'm not one that. I don't watch much footage. That's actually I've never been a footage guy. When I was kickboxing, I never was one for footage. I might watch 30 or 40 seconds of somebody, and then from there, what I see, first person is different than what you see third person on the camera. It's no different than watching football. Why didn't he throw the ball down there? Well, the quarterback ain't seeing that wide lens view that you're seeing on the field, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about it. So I don't. But what I do is I have a coach, Jay Johnsey, up in Canada, that he watches everything for me. And he says, hey, here's what you're going to look for. Here's what it's going to be. Here's what you're going to train.
He's kind of like the eye in the sky.
He's the eye in the sky, and I hear him like I have an earpiece in my ear when I'm in that ring. His voice to me is like just as clear as you and I are talking right now. I can hear him clear as day. Never had any issue hearing him. So that's how I go about it. Now I'm sure there's some guys that don't watch anything and they just throw caution to the wind and go in there swinging. But I do think that I think it's more technical than people kind of give credit to a lot of time. I think people see it as just a complete blood sport that we're just running in there and.
I would assume to not have a game plan or not have any kind of info about how you're going to do it, or it would almost be a disaster.
I think it can be, but I also am ADD, and I'm of the mind of hyper focus and wing it.
Yeah.
I'll see what's open.
He'll tell you all this stuff, and you'll be like, yeah. All right, go kick this guy's ass.
He'll tell me while I'm there. I'm in there in the ring. He tells me what's open. Not only that, but you can also see what's open. Generally,
yeah.
You know what I mean, if you can process that fast enough, you can see what's open. Fingers crossed, obviously, and you can come up on the improv, come up on the fly of what's going on. You train a few things, you drill a few things, but at the same time, if he throws something that's totally foreign to you, you have to have that reaction built in.
100%.
It's got to be second nature. Just like driving. If somebody pulls out in front of you, you don't go, well, what did the driver's manual say about this?
Yeah, you either have the reaction.
You either have it or you don't. You're either hitting the dude or you're moving. You know
So
what I mean?
you mentioned Canada. Is that where you got your start fighting, or is that kind of like where somebody pulled you into a gym and said, "Bro, let's get it in"? Or
So obviously, like I said, I was here, and there's nothing here, right? Training by myself in a garage, that type of stuff. Back in the day, Black Belt Magazine would sell these VHSs. I'd buy those and watch those and just train. This is pre-YouTube, you know what I mean? And just train. My mom lived in Washington, so I lived up there for a while with her. I'd go to gyms up there, and then a few years ago, a friend of mine, Josh, he became my friend, Josh Johnsey. He was a kickboxer out of Canada, and I started watching his stuff online and just messaged him out of the blue. We started talking, and I was like, let's just, put all the chips in, and my wife and I moved up there. So we moved up, and I lived in the States, but I trained in Canada, literally across the border every day. Had a Nexus card, and I was across that border every day and go train up in BC.
Yeah.
And they lined me up. Basically, they've been in my corner for every fight, but I think one. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so that was a kickboxing start.
Yeah. That's why I started with kickboxing, and then with bare knuckle, it was I had like a 5 or 6 year layoff. I think when we had the kids, moved back here. Wanted the kids to be raised around our family, so came back here, and Bear River was putting on. I was trying to get a kickboxing match there, and John had mentioned something about bare knuckle, and I was like, I'm all in, brother. Because as soon as I saw BKFC, I told my wife, I said, that's for me. That is for me. That's what God put me on earth to do, to fight bare knuckle. And I feel that to my core. Like, I tell this to people, it's redundant on my part, but I can't tell people enough that is what God put me on earth to do. Like, there's nothing I can do to convince myself more to
this is it.
This is it, brother. Yeah. I know.
So
I love this.
First bare knuckle fight was here at Bear River.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you obviously won that one.
Yeah, I won that.
And then what was the second fight after that?
BKFC in LA.
So they pulled you immediately into a contract.
So I messaged the matchmaker like 2 days after the fight, sent him the video, this and that. We got to talking, and it kind of, fight was supposed to happen and fell through. And then the BKFC does tryouts. And this is an encouragement to anybody. If you want to go BKFC, go to one of those tryouts. Just get there, see what happens, see how you feel. And that's what it was. I was already training hard. So I went to that tryout. Actually, day before, just as I was leaving the airport to go to the tryout, I got my contract for the fight. But I still showed up to that tryout. Here's something that I just hold tight. I showed up to that tryout, and I just went as hard as I absolutely could. When it's time for burpees, I was down first. When it's time for running, I'm at the front of the pack. When it's time for everything, you just go. You know what I mean? I had a good
that's
partner,
what they could expect from a tryout is physical testing,
basically
sparring,
physical testing. Yeah, the sparring is not so it's not crazy. So nobody think that you're going to go there and don't be trying to knock everybody out. You know what I mean? They do we had like a punch meter where you can see how hard you can hit. They want to know how well you can listen. Chris Lytle, awesome dude. Thank you, Chris, for everything. Chris Lytle was in there with us. He's in the cage with us. We were sparring in a cage, and he's talking to you while you're doing it, making sure, is this guy a numbskull or is this guy competent? You know,
and to the naked eye, they can usually see the attributes of what would be a good fighter or somebody they would want to invest
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah. So that was one thing. It was a blessing. Is excuse me. As soon as we started running and everything like that. I'm like, whenever he's speaking, I'm front and center to listen. You know what I mean? business. I'm not a slouch. I'm not a bum. I'm a serious guy. When it comes down to business, I'm all business, and that's what it was. It was business that's there to accomplish a goal. So when he had something to say, I'm right there. My ears are all open. I'm listening to him, and I don't know. We were maybe a half hour in. He pulled me aside. He said, "You need to fight for us," and that was a blessing. And I said, "Well, actually, I signed my contract yesterday." So that
nice.
was,
I'm already
insane.
in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that was insane. You know, it was just a divine calling, and it worked out perfectly.
Do you not get the concept?
July 25th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the old school ECW arena, now known as the 2300 Arena, versus Dustin Pague for BKFC, Pague versus Petersen. I'm honored to be able to shed some blood in that building. As so many legends that I grew up watching in pro wrestling, I'd look at it as what an honor to do that. Not only that, but what an honor to fight in not only Philly, just being Philly, but hey, the home of Rocky, right? Also known for Rocky to go run those Rocky stairs. You know, Rocky's kind of a comeback story of the guy who was nothing, but here's me. It's not a comeback. Don't call it a comeback like LL says. A nobody getting a good opportunity, and that's me. A nobody from nowhere taking a good opportunity, training his ass off and running with it. So July 25th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, BKFC. Let's do it.
I am a warrior, a destroyer, a force of pure violence. I am coming.
if you could pick two former boxing champions to duke it out with each other
Oh, wow.
in bare knuckle, who would it be and who would win?
Anytime, right? Anytime.
Anytime.
Both in their prime.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to go probably Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, just because that's been the age-old thing is who's better and who's the greatest, right?
Bare knuckle, you think Mike's taking it?
Yeah, Mike beats the world, man. Mike
Yeah,
does the world.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love Ali,
yeah.
but I love Mike.
Yeah,
I
no
love
one's
Mike
fucking with Mike in his prime
I think
bare knuckle.
Mike in the prime, I think
Yeah.
the world dies at his hands.
Yeah, and I also, too, the thing about Mike is I love his story. You know, he
Yep.
just, the way Cosmotic took him in and just his humble beginnings and being so young. And,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people, I've never had millions of dollars at 19, 20, 21 years old. So who knows how it would actually affect your life or your story afterwards. I mean, it's probably a massive shockwave.
It's an
you know what I'm saying?
unusual thing. It's
Yeah.
and there's an unusual reaction as well, right?
Yeah, he was like
As
doing
you should
interviews with
expect.
tigers and shit in his
Yeah,
lawn and
exactly.
shit. I'm like, this dude's dope. I love this shit.
Everybody's got their point of view of what they see from the outside, but nobody who are any of us to say what it's like to be that man of that power in that position. And I love Mike, but obviously absolute power corrupts absolutely. And who's to say if you're a kid in a candy store, you're not going to eat some candy? And I'm not saying that forgives maybe some of the behavior that he had going wild, but
Yeah.
here he is right now. I think Mike is innocent, in my opinion, on that. On everything that happened with Desiree
Yeah,
Washington,
yeah.
100% innocent. But
Well, also,
I love
too,
Mike.
big shout out to Customato. I said his name wrong a
Amen.
second ago. This was an older man who took him in and really dedicated his life to developing this troubled kid. And
Yeah.
another shout out I want to give to Kareem Mayfield, Boxing Brian, Jeff Ross and Jeff Brink, other local fighters from Humboldt. There was a lot of people throughout the years, the decades in this community, even though boxing hasn't super caught on and there hasn't been these, timeless places where people can go. There's gyms that switch locations, they close, they open, but there's been people in our community that have always kept it alive, and I want to give a shout out to them, especially Boxing Brian and Kareem. Kareem's a former NABO champion of the world. He's come up to Humboldt for the last 18 years and always made it a point to spar, train, and be involved with our local fighters. That's how I actually met him. He was here visiting, looking for someone to spar with, and my little brother's like, wait, what? I'll go around there right now. And we walked in. I'm like, yo, this is my brother. We never met them before. And he's like, yeah, I'm a pro. My brother's like, just get this gear on. And fucking, they just went, bro, like fucking 19 rounds. And my brother's like, all right, I'm done. He's like, yeah, bro, like, Jesus Christ, you like really made me beat your ass, huh? And fucking, so I want to give a shout out to some of the people who have been involved locally over the course of time. Also, too, right now, Next Level Boxing. And even though they're maybe possibly a rival of this gym that we're at right now, shout out to Alpha Fitness. Probably not our favorite gym, but you are putting in the work. Some of these people are putting in the work to keep the fucking spirit alive here. So we have to recognize that no matter what.
Yeah, both of them are giving a good opportunity to the youth around here. So that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It gives them a good outlet for the things that we have to do here, which is very few and far between for constructive, positive things here, honestly. Just like any small town, right?
100%. What's your most important pre-fight ritual?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I quite have necessarily a pre-fight ritual other than just getting my mind into that zone. You know what I mean? I have a few mantras that I go over, and they actually change from fight to fight. It's just a few
Do you have like a lucky sweater you bring with you, or
no? I try to stay away from
avoid superstition.
Any superstition at all. Like there's been a few times where I started thinking like maybe this is it.
Yeah.
That's horseshit.
Yeah, so, you're looking at the pair of underwear like, this shit stain might be lucky.
Exactly.
Put those in the bag. No.
Let me try that again.
I can see, though, very genius to avoid rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And keep it unpredictable and just about your path.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I figure you just, I'm of the mind that there's a frequency out there that you can tune into. And if you nail that frequency, you have a perfect. You've done it, obviously, with comedy and things like that. You hit a frequency at the right time, right?
Yeah.
And just divine intervention happens and it takes off, and you can have that at that night of the fight. You could feel that. You will notice it. It's again where people talk about being in the zone. They'll feel things slow down. You start to notice everything. You could see minor details on somebody. You can see when they move, before they move, things like that. So I'm not really big on any type of pre-fight ritual other than the fact that I have a few mantras that I go over. They change from opponent to opponent, and it comes just very naturally what I feel about what needs to happen here.
Yeah.
So.
And so have you had anybody that you've beaten that's maybe contacted you afterwards and said, hey, bro, like, I'm out, but I want to be a part of your camp. Let me know if you want to spar. Do you need help training? Or most people like, thanks for kicking my ass, bud. Never talk to me again. I mean,
no,
because sometimes the people you fight become your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I'll say I have a few people that I fought that we became friends. A guy named Juan Jackson. What's up, Juan? How you doing? Him and I fought, and we trained after that together. It was cool. Dan Godoy, who I fought for my BKFC debut. Dan's a sweetheart of a man. Thank you, Dan, for everything.
Yeah.
Met him at we were doing medicals, and he comes up and taps me on the shoulder, introduced himself, which I didn't expect at all.
Yeah.
And then all our medicals that day basically coincided, so we sat down and talked for like an hour and a half. And,
Yeah.
We still talk now. So
Yeah.
we've never got together and trained, but I absolutely would. The last gentleman I fought, Matt Suckalupchuk, I trained with Matt as well. We haven't spoke or anything like that, but I'd train with Matt if he needed a hand or anything like that. I absolutely would. He was a good. Matter of fact, we didn't even talk before the fight. We spoke when we were getting stitched up, and that's about it.
Yeah, and so there has been after fight medical care that you've needed. I mean, because even look at this painting right here, you're pretty bashed up.
Yeah, that's 10 stitches right there.
I mean, unless Joe added a little bit for the collection.
No, that's what it looked like. Yeah, that's 5 stitches here, 5 stitches there, and it's big old nose I got is pretty easily broken.
What do you do to prevent a cut? I mean, because like boxing, you see they rub the grease on the face,
Vaseline,
and you can't have too much on there. They'll make you wipe some off.
That's basically it. You get Vaseline, but look at here. I got pretty sharp here, and there. You know what I mean? So basically, like I go back to the movement. As long as you can move, that's the best. But at the same time, bare knuckle, everything is of consequence. Whether that be your face or your hands, everything you do is of consequence. So it's not like boxing where you can go out there and maybe you can throw something that is a throwaway, right? You can block with your glove. You cannot do that. Right here, I might even split myself if I, you know what I mean? If you have your hand up, you could potentially split just any type of knuckles
100%.
on a sharp spot on your face. So that's one thing that is much more, I suppose, prevalent in bare knuckle. And I've spoke about this on other podcast interviews that BKFC has a 30% cut rate, which is quite high for combat sports, right? Boxing is quite a bit lower, but we have a low concussion rate. It's only a 2% concussion rate. We all participate in these studies as well.
Yeah.
2% concussion rate as opposed to boxing, I believe, has an 11% concussion rate.
Very interesting.
It is very interesting.
So do you think the glove maybe enhances the concussion because of it's almost like a
just keep going,
a vibrational
going. Yeah, I think too. I mean, we don't have a 3 knockdown rule, but at the same time, a lot of times people are get smashed or something, or maybe you get cut and that calls off the fight, as opposed to in boxing where that blow didn't cut you, but it's rattling your brain and you're down and you're up and you're down and you're up and you keep pushing. Okay, you got 2 knockdowns in that round. Next round starts. You get 2. You can get knocked down throughout the whole fight and keep getting up. You don't realize how bad your brain's getting rattled, as opposed to somebody getting split bad and being like, all right, cool, that's enough. Or even somebody taking enough punishment from, there's plenty of times where people get cracked with a bare knuckle and they're like, all right, that's probably enough.
Have you had times after the fight where you kind of had to look and be like, how'd it go? Like, what happened?
It's
the last time I got in a fight, like in the streets, I had to like look at them and be like, yo, what happened? Like I wasn't knocked out. I just don't really remember.
No,
you know, you had to ask people like, how did it go?
No, bro. I am like, I'm very analytical while I'm in there, which is strange. This has been all the way from kickboxing, from my very first fight to this one. I can see everything, hear everything. I can walk out and tell you exactly what happened.
So like second round, that third jab should have been straighter.
Exactly. I can hear the conversation. I'm having a conversation in my head that whole time. It's really strange for me. This is why I feel like this is exactly what's for me, because I feel very tuned in. I hear everything. I see everything. I'm having a conversation in my head. I can hear his corner. I can hear him if he has something to say. I can hear him if I hit him in the gut and he goes, ugh. I can hear it. I notice all these things. I can come back to my corner at the end of the fight and say, hey, when this and that happened, here's what I was thinking. But I will say this, oddly enough, a lot of times I don't watch my fights. I won't watch them. Mm-hmm. And after I do watch them, my perspective changes to the camera view, and not very few times can I see it through my.
Do you not like to see it in that perspective?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's done with. Let's get it over with. Like in my last fight was a pretty good fight, and I really was like bummed out about not wanting to watch it. And they're like, no, watch it. You like it. So
you know what's creepy about when I do comedy? I can watch my own videos over and over again and kind of analyze and be like, damn, that was great. But if someone was watching my video while I was in the room, I become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to, like, you know what I'm saying?
You don't want to pay attention to it then.
I tried to get Ryan to come out in the ring to one of my songs, and they were playing it here in the gym, and I walk in, they're having a fucking roast session about my music. I was at a comedy thing in Santa Rosa, and the comedian goes, yo, CJ Humboldt's in the building, man. Like, I love his comedy. And he's like, but there is not enough meth in Lake County to make me like your music. So thank you for letting me off easy. He was really polite about it. He said, no, I already have my own song. And he could have said, why did you send me this trash shit, you retard? So thank you for letting me offer easy on that
yeah,
one.
and either way, that song is the song I come out with is the song I always come out to.
Yeah.
That's actually the
Okay, good.
the
Let
song
me
that
off
gets
easy. Yeah.
I guess that could be my ritual right there if there was one.
Oh,
That
dude,
song.
I walked in and Joe and my son were in here making, they were going hard. Dude, I can't, this sound sucks. This is buns, as all the kids said. I'm like, buns? I wasn't even,
we're getting
what the
old,
fuck?
brother.
Yeah,
We're getting old.
Sometimes I have to, so I hit this chick up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You don't want to come through? She's like, I'm about to crash out. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, just call me when you wake up. She's like, no, I'm about to crash out. Like, I'm about to freak out. I'm having some issues with my daughter and shit. I'm like, oh, is that what that means?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. It's like, what the fuck did you think it means? Like,
Go to
crash
bed.
out means pass out to me.
Go to bed.
Needless
I
to
said the same
say,
thing.
she ended up working it out. I went over there, did what I had to do, and her baby daddy unfollowed me. So if you're watching this, bud, it's not my fault. Okay? I got blue pills, you don't. Real quick, I want to wrap this up and thank you for taking some time. We're over here on a Saturday. This guy gave up a Saturday. I'm hoping that this video reaches a lot of people who are, one, foreign to bare knuckle fighting, two, being exposed to what's going to be a local legend, a future world champion. And if there's a kid out there, you need to know, I don't give a shit what your situation is.
Yeah.
If you are in a foster home, sleeping in a sleeping bag on the concrete of a garage that smells like old puppies pooped on it, you can make it to the absolute top of the world. Nothing can stop you. Put your faith in God and go hard.
And do the work.
Do the work. Do the work. Don't shy from the challenge. Break a sweat every time you put your work boots on. Your wook boots on. That's all the hippies out there. Break a sweat every time you put your wook boots on, but also you put those work boots on, it's time to go to work. You need to outwork everybody. And one of our slogans here, Black Market Vikings, is GOATs times 10. And the reason we say that is if you want to be the greatest of all time, you got to be prepared to work 10 times harder than the competition. We live and die by that. Thank you for having me, brother.
Don't be afraid to be afraid either. Just don't let it stop you. You can be afraid, but you got to go forward right into that fear and conquer it. Otherwise, you're going to be running from it, and you're going to be 80 years old saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, wish I would have done this when I was 20 years old, rather than just jumping off the cliff and figuring out how to fly on the way down. That's what you got to do. No joke.
Who needs parachutes when you can fly?
Exactly.
Straight
but you got to
up.
figure it out. Figure out how to fly.
Thank you, fellas.
Cool. Thank you.
Fighting here in his home state, California, Ryan Peterson.
Petersen just stalking his opponent.
Clean right hand from Ryan Peterson. You see big swings from both men. 1:15 remaining, round number one.
Petersen landed a good shot.
Both fighters, somewhat ironically, to this point, largely doing what they want to do. Godoy sitting back, landing the big right hand. And the hits of Godoy as Ryan Peterson trying to cut the ring. Big right hand from Ryan Peterson. That nearly turned Godoy 360.
Oh, the left eye.
This fight is over!
Ryan Ryu Peterson.
Ryan Ryu Peterson here, BKFC fighter. I'm here for Revolve Outdoors, my sponsor. Thank you guys for this T-Series mesh blind right here. Lightweight, portable. Every hunter needs one of these in their arsenal. Go and get it.